With week 1 of college football upon us, I thought I'd give y'all some sleepers headed into the college football season. So here it is. I got 10 of them for you. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I just got 10 of these guys listed. So let me know who are some of your sleepers. If you already checked it out, check out my top 200 big board. Tomorrow we'll do a stock report on week 0 of college football. So check that out as well. So starting with RoShaun Johnson, running back out of Texas. He is the backup to Bijan, but this is a big boy. 6'2", 223. He was a 4-star recruit from the 2019 class. And actually coming out, he was considered a dual threat quarterback when recruited. Also played basketball in high school, but during his freshman season, he had to convert from quarterback to running back because of injuries, and he played in every game his freshman season in that 2019 year where he had 650 yards. Then in 2020, he played in all 10 games and started the season opener before Bijan Robinson took the reins. And this past season, 12 starts, or 12, played in all 12 games with 3 starts. Now, he's going to be the backup. He's going to be the backup. But when Bijan leaves the field, the Longhorns don't lose much because Johnson is a house by himself. This is a big boy back. I like this guy's contact balance. I like his physicality. He can take on defensive linemen and run by linebackers. He's a bruiser. 40 forced missed tackles on only 95 carries last season. And he's not slow either. Once this guy gets to rolling and gets to top speed, he's going to gain a chunk of yards. And he's shown soft hands, and he's actually a very good pass blocker as well. Teams are going to love this dude's attitude, love his team-first mentality. Keep in mind, this is a guy that came in as a dual-threat quarterback, and for the team decided to go to running back. Keep in mind, when we get to the NFL, running back kind of a devalued position compared to quarterback. Some of the things I don't like about him, doesn't always has the patience for holes to develop, and he'll try to just make holes himself. So I don't mind that. I don't mind this, like, the urgency he has, but being a little bit more patient and letting blocks develop be nice. He isn't particularly shifty either. He possesses good stop-start ability. But, yeah, more of a straightforward downhill bruiser. Next on the list, I got Zakari Franklin at a UTSA. You probably you remember him last year because I brought him up quite a bit. But I got a late day 3 grade on him. He's going to be 23 his rookie season when he's drafted or signs with the team. But he was a former 2-star recruit out of the 2019 class. He also played basketball and track in high school. And as a freshman, he played in 9 games, and he ended up starting the last 4. In 2020, he played all 10 games with 9 starts. And then in 2021, things got crazy. Things got lit. This man, I believe he started every game. Here we go. Yeah, he started all 13 games, and he set UTSA single season records for receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He was a first team all conference USA, and you better bet your sweet cheeks he deserved it. Now, this dude showed good speed. He plays like a much bigger receiver, though, there at 6'1", 185. Like, you could have sworn he was a 200-pounder. How physical he is at the catch point. He'll go up and make contested catches. He shows exceptionally soft hands and a knack for the acrobatic catch with a 4.8 drop rate back in 2021. He's also a good runner, especially on deep routes. He can create separation with his hands. He does a good job also of selling moves. So he creates separation in a variety of different ways. He's strong after the catch. He's tough to bring down. 14 forced missed tackles last season. However, he is a bit slim at 6'1", 185, and there are going to be concerns with his physicality during the route in the NFL, and if he could handle NFL strength. There's also were many cases where he honestly could have been flagged for offensive pass interference, and he just wasn't. Like, there were times where I was like, ugh. the one time the refs do hold their flags, like probably could have been called there. Anyway, this dude also not too twitchy of an athlete. Like I said, he kind of like he plays like a much bigger player. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Honestly, this dude, I think he could, by the end of the year, could be even a midday 3 pick. And then I got Tucker Kraft, tight end out of South Dakota State. I finally looked at him. I didn't look at this guy before I did my tight end rankings. And now that I have, I could give you an honest opinion on him. And I think I just talked about him yesterday because he was on Dane Brugler's top 50 big board. So let me find his. There he is. So he was an unranked recruit out of the 2019 class. Dude played running back, linebacker, and punter in high school. Like, for real? Like, yo, as a dope, man, this was literally Mr. Do Everything. Also, he played basketball in high school, averaging 14.2 points and 8 rebounds a game. Kind of legit. So he ends up redshirting his freshman season. Then he saw 3 starts at tight end in 2020. It was really 2021 where he broke out and finished second in receiving on the Jackrabbits. He was also a FCS All-American first team. Now let's go over the things I like about him, because this dude does a great job during the route of selling fakes, using his hands to get separation. He shows very strong hands at the catch point. He was 9 of 12 on contested catch situations. He tracks the ball exceptionally well in air. He absorbs contact well after the catch as well. That shouldn't be a surprise. Dude's a former running back in high school. As a blocker, he does a good job of keeping his feet moving, and he latches on pretty darn well. That's probably still an area he could probably get the most consistent at, but I think he's trending in the right direction. He's got the great size for it, 6'5", 225 or 255, excuse me. Now, I don't think he's entirely that explosive. Like, he could be a bit plodding and just ends up being this guy that tries to find the soft spots in coverage there in the secondary. And I mentioned that he had strong hands, and he's really good in traffic, but there's a lot of puzzling catches on tape where it just kind of like hits him in the chest and he drops it. I don't know, like some of them were focus catches, some of them were just like, what are you doing? Because like I think the guy does have good ball skills. It's just those situations need to be fewer and far between, because last season he had a 9.7% drop rate. Remember, if you get to that 10% drop rate, that's huge red flags. Now, as a blocker, he doesn't have great pop in his hands, and he can still get finessed by edge rushers and linebackers. Also, he tries to get the edge up on pass protection, and I think a lot of that stems from the false starts. Like, he tries to get that edge up and ends up costing his team 5 yards. So, like, again, areas he can work on, but I can see why people like him. Probably will end up being a top 10 top 10 tight end for me by the end of the year. But I had a couple of guys on my list who I think have really high floors, so it was a bit of a projection there. But Tucker Kraft ain't half bad. So I think we're moving to the defense here. Oh, we're going with Dillon Horton. Now, you probably saw this cat in my top 200. And you're actually going to see the next dude as well. But I really wanted to talk about Dillon Horton because guy has an interesting background, and he's a very, very good athlete. Now, he's a former 3-star recruit out of the 2018 class, and he played safety in high school, and he was an all-district basketball player. He also competed in the long jump and the high jump, and he actually went to New Mexico first. He moved to... Here we go. He moved to rush linebacker once he showed up there in New Mexico from safety. He moved to rush linebacker, but he mainly played special teams his freshman season. He started his first 5 games in 2019 before sustaining an ankle injury that ended his season. And then he decided to transfer after that to TCU, where in 2020 he primarily played on special teams. And then in 2021 he played in all 12 games with 8 starts, and he looked pretty darn good. Like, this dude's a former safety, and he's put on 60 pounds since his high school days. yet he still moves like he's 202 pounds. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, he's pure muscle. Like, this dude's twitched up. Many of his wins are just with pure athleticism and speed. And I love this. He never quits on plays. And he shows great pursuit speed, hunting down running backs from behind, whether they're 15 yards across the field or down the field. Like, there are a lot of instances where you see him tracking these ball carriers. He's shown a few moves and plays with violent hands. Sure tackler, plays with a hot motor. A lot to like about him. Now, Horton's play strength, not great. Who would have thought him being former safety? He put on the weight, but he's muscled out. Now he just needs to play stronger. He's gotten stronger. He needs to play stronger. There's many cases where he gets locked up and he just struggles to disengage with blockers. He doesn't get moved in the run game, but like he does get moved in the run game. Not backwards though. Like, he will ride along with blockers horizontally for too long. Like, he'll let blockers take him for a ride and move him out of the play. Also there are just seeing more consistency on the game-to-game basis, I think would go a long way, but definitely a guy to watch out for. There's a reason he made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list. Big fan. On to another guy that made my top 200 big board in Lonnie Phelps. Edge out of Kansas, actually a former transfer from Miami, Ohio. So he was a 3-star recruit from the 2019 class, and as a freshman in Miami, Ohio, he played in all 13 games and was third in the team in sacks. In a shortened 2020 season, he played in all 3 games. Again, keep in mind, he only played. He was basically playing a rotation role. But he ended up being third team all Mid-American or Mid-Atlantic Conference. Is it Mid? No, it's Mid-American. MAC. All MAC. So in 2021, he played in all 13 games, got 1 start, but he led the team in sacks. He was second team all MAC. So yeah, I don't get why this guy wasn't started earlier for the Red Hawks. Like, I think he's a more put together prospect than Dominique Robinson was. But now he moves on to Kansas, and I think that's huge. I'm surprised more teams weren't trying to get this guy's services, but I love that this dude flies off the edge. He plays with so much juice and so much explosiveness. I love the Predator dreads. He was very easy to pick out, very easy to find when watching tape, but he's pretty easy to find regardless because he's almost the first guy that's given the quarterback problems. He displays very strong hands. He can mow down much larger men. Go to the Minnesota game. He did that all game. He shows impressive hand usage. He's shown a variety of different counters as well. He had a pass rush win rate in 2021 of 30.5%, which is bonkers. That led college football. And again, like, I think he's going to be a hot riser. It's surprising that he only had 1 start in his whole Red Hawk career. So, I think the biggest questions for Phelps is how will he look consistently against Power 5 competition. The only games we could really pull from is Minnesota and then Cincinnati last year. I know their offensive line wasn't great, but they made the college football playoff, so they were kind of like a Power 5 school. But he had 5 pressures and a sack on only 24 pass rushing snaps between both those games. And also, now he'll be a full-time starter. So that's going to be huge. How will he look like when he's on the field a whole lot more? Also, making tackles out in space, 25% missed tackle rate is kind of a little scary, but huge fan of this cat. On to another transfer, Yabi Nami. I'll get his name pronunciation written down here after the video. Should have done before, but he's got a very interesting background. He was a former 5-star recruit from the 2018 class. He just started playing football his junior year of high school, but he recorded 25 plus sacks in both his junior and senior season. He played a rotation role. He went to Alabama and played a rotation role his freshman season. He made the SEC all-freshman team, but then he was dismissed from the team for undisclosed violations related to either the team or the university. So he ends up transferring to Houston, where he has to sit out the 2019 season because of transfer rules. But he ends up being dismissed before the spring of 2020 for a plethora of reasons. And these were the ones listed out. There's always two sides of the story, and I like to hear his side, but Houston cited tardiness, skipping classes, clashing with teammates, and insubordination. So he transfers to Tennessee Martin, but once again, he has to sit out the season because of transfer rules. And then in 2021, he played in all 12 games, made 5 starts, and he was an OVC all-newcomer, part of the OVC all-newcomer team. He was an FCC all-OVC third team. And like the stats are legit. Here, let me pull the stats up real quick. So, whoops, there we go. So last year, 15 pressures, 7 sacks. Like, if you go back and watch it, because fun fact, I couldn't find, like, I found a little bit of his old Alabama tape, but I was really looking for that Tennessee Martin, and what I did find really was essentially highlights. So, but like this guy, like he has ridiculous get off for his size. Ridiculous. By the way, if you didn't know, now he's at Michigan. He just enrolled in Michigan a couple of weeks ago. Like, I could get why, like, this dude's physically gifted. A lot of times for the Skyhawks, Tennessee Martin there, he won with purely physical tools. Like, even in the short time he was there at Alabama, he showed very strong hands. He was constantly giving tackles a tough time. Like, he's just difficult to get a clean hold on. He's difficult to latch on, and he shows good pursuit and good closing speed on ball carriers. The biggest concerns, obviously, the character stuff. We'll find out more in the off-season draft process, but the character stuff is kind of like, okay, you were dismissed from 2 different schools. And then a lack of playing time on the field. We have simply not seen enough of this guy. Like, if he puts out a strong year there at Michigan, could be flying up boards. And then if he answers a lot of questions at like the combine about his character and such, about what went down in those situations, and obviously if he just has a bomb off-season draft process, then yeah, he could be definitely someone to watch out for. Ridiculous athlete, but put a 6th-round grade on him for now because, again, the character stuff is kind of heavy. Like, there's cases of a young guy just being stupid, but at the same time, it's like, come on, bro. Come on. Like, apparently at Tennessee Martin, none of that stuff really was a problem. We'll see how it is at Michigan. All right, we're going to linebacker position, and I'm going to start here with Darius Musow. There we go. Darius Musow out of UCLA. He was actually initially a former Hawaii player. That's why you see the Hawaii picture, but I got a midday 3 grade on him. 6'1", 230. He was a 2-star recruit out of the 2019 class. He also has 5 brothers. Insane. Now, his freshman season at Hawaii there, he was basically an immediate impact player. He finished 3rd on the team in tackles in only 4 starts. He played in every game in a shortened 2020 season, and he was all Mountain West first team that year. He played every game in 2021, which was almost over 1,000 snaps, and he was once again all Mountain West first team for the 2nd straight season. After the season, he hit the transfer portal, and Chip Kelly sought after him after playing against Hawaii last year in the season opener. He was like, yo, give me that cat. I want him. And let me tell you, my goodness, this guy plays with so much power, and he's got very good short area quicks. Like, routinely, he took on offensive linemen and was hardly ever pushed back. He shows great timing as a blitzer. He absorbs contact very well. Once he's like coming downhill, the dude's just hard to stop. He plays legit with his hair on fire. He's also been a playmaker around the line of scrimmage. Does a great job of finding and fighting for the ball, or fighting for the ball from the clutches of ball carriers. Like, again, a guy that could maybe be a turnover machine in terms of what he can do as a forced tackler, as a forced fumbler, I should say. He fills rushing lanes well, and he's just a hit stick waiting to happen. Now, when it comes to Musal, I don't think he possesses great speed or change of direction. I think he's a pretty average athlete for the position. Also doesn't have a great feel of zone, and he kind of reads and reacts late. He was kind of a spot dropper there for Hawaii. Also needs to clean up as a tackler, 18.4 miss tackle rate in 2021. Just needs to finish better. Also, there are times he tends to be a liability in space. That's why I got the midday 3 grade, but there's a lot to like. I can't wait to see him, especially like a lot of those questions are going to be answered. How can he deal out in space there in the Pac-12 now, a large majority of the time? All right, we're going to move on to, let me get the pronunciation out for this one. Palaie. There we go. Ote. Last name's actually really easy. He was a 5-star recruit from the 2018 class. He played at Bishop Gordon. If you don't know, that's kind of like a hub for like a lot of highly touted recruits. He missed the first 2 games of his freshman season while he was recovering from knee cartilage surgery, but ended up making 5 starts, and he played on special teams that year. 2019, he started the first half of the season, but an ankle injury ended up costing him a few games. He would return a couple of weeks later, but then re-aggravated the ankle, and he managed to play in the bowl game there at the end of the year. He started USC's first 2 games in the shortened 2022 season, or for the Pac-12, but his season was ended by a concussion. So as you can see, we're starting to see a lot of injury concerns here and there. Then he decided to transfer after the season. He wasn't eligible to play until the Oregon game, but he mainly played a reserve role. A lot of people expect a bigger role for him here in 2022. If you didn't know, I talked about him last year after he decided to transfer. So a guy that's not really new to my radar. Now, Teote, he's got great low center of gravity. Look, 6'2", 250, and he packs a lot of power in his frame. He gets good leverage, strong hands. He keeps his hands active, and he's just violent. He keeps blockers like just off of him. He attacks the line well, and he can be a legit blitzer if given the opportunity. I truly believe that. He has good closing speed, and he's capable of making plays out in the flats. Now, obviously, this dude, he's a very aggressive player, and sometimes he needs to reel back on that sometimes. He'll overrun plays a lot. He isn't entirely very clean as a tackler, 16.2 missed tackle rate his whole career. There'll be times he buys into the quarterback's eye candy and he just leaves his assignment. So again, they're at Ohio State. They're typically pretty good. They're pretty good at scheming their linebackers into coverage, so we'll see how he does. I don't think he possesses elite quicks or change of direction, but he's more of this old school thumper, especially at that size. And again, the extensive injury history will be a concern. Next, I have Cam Hart out of Notre Dame. He was a former 4-star recruit from the 2019 class, and he played in 3 games as a freshman before suffering a season-ending shoulder injury. He saw little action in 9 games for the Irish in 2020, but made his first start in the season opener of 2021. He played in all 13 games, making 10 starts. This dude has great size, first of all. 6'2", 205. He's got the size, he's got the length, and he's shown physicality throughout the route and has been a nuisance at the catch point. 2 interceptions, 5 pass breakups. He breaks well on the ball and off coverage. He comes downhill with a head of steam. And this dude, he's built like and plays like an enforcer on the outside. He was actually used quite a bit in the box in 2021. Some of the things, him being a first-time starter last year, was that I would say he's more explosive than he is actually fast. And I would say probably he's going to hover around that 4.5 speed. And it kind of became a problem when he would prematurely open his hips. Like slicker route runners can really put this dude in a blender. and he gets off blocks inconsistently, and I would say he could definitely be a better finisher when he gets to the ball. But 14.3 missed tackle rate like last year, that's not that bad for a corner. And again, you expect your corners to cover, not necessarily be great run stuffers, so I'm not too hurt about that. And this dude has the size, but the thing is, he has the size to be a better run defender, and I expect it to be better in year 2 as a starter. And then last on the list here, I got Julian, safety out of Oregon State. Now, Julian, he is coming back from injury. We'll get to that. I'll just go over the background. Now, he played both wide receiver and defensive back in high school. He's actually the cousin of RoShaun and RoShaun, right? If you remember those guys from, what was it, Last Chance U? And he actually started playing, he wasn't highly recruited. He ended up actually playing college at San Mateo, where he played his freshman season, but he ended up redshirting the next season. And then in the 2019 class, he was a 3-star JUCO transfer and ended up choosing Oregon State. And he played in all 7 games in a shortened 2020 Pac-12 season, making 2 starts. And then in 2021, he made 5 starts before having a season-ending knee injury. He's been limited most of the offseason, and there are concerns over his overall recovery, but it sounds like if he doesn't play in their first game, that he might come back in the next couple of weeks after. So we will see this cat on the field, and I got expectations for him because I think he could be one of the top, whether it's box only or even split high safety options in this draft. Like, this dude reads and reacts very quickly. He sniffs out plays with very good closing speed. He has the ability to be a playmaker in coverage, and even if he can't make the play, there are times where he will just lay the hammer. Like, good luck. He could jar the ball loose with relative ease. This guy's got an enforcer mentality, and like, even when coming downhill, or if he's gonna be late to the catch point, this dude just does a nice job of just popping guys. He also does a good job of avoiding traffic when trying to get to ball carriers, and he's been a sure tackler. 8.3% missed tackle rate. First and foremost, though, the knee injury. Hopefully everything is going well with that, and we'll see how he recovers. And hopefully he'll be able to play a large chunk of 2022. That'll be a big boost to his draft stock. Now, I don't think he has huge range, and he has better closing speed than actual explosiveness. I don't think he's got short area quicks or anything, but still, I think he's a solid prospect. I got a midday 3 grade on him. But let me know who are some of your sleepers going into this season, and be on the lookout for my 3-round 2023 NFL mock draft. I'm going to be doing that with Alex from Hail Mary Sports, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We also got the live stream this weekend, so be there for that. It's going to be a ton of fun. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.